Good morning, my dear friends. My topic is types of grammar in language teaching. Before moving into the types of grammar, first of all, let us discuss about the meaning, definition, and aims of teaching grammar. Meaning of grammar is a structure and system of language. It is also described as the rules of grammar. It is usually consists of, that is, the grammatical sentence usually consists of syntax and morphology, that is, the structure. Next, the definition of grammar. According to I.A. Gordon, if language is a vehicle of our thoughts and feelings, then grammar is the machine by which that vehicle is moving. Then the aims of teaching grammar. The aims of teaching grammar is it helps us to use the language effectively, efficiently and fluently. It enables the students to assimilate the correct patterns of language. Then it helps to develop the mental abilities of reasoning and correct observation. Only through grammar one can communicate correctly and the receiver can get the information correctly. Later, it helps to develop the scientific attitude in peoples. There are different types of grammar. The first one we are going to discuss about is the case grammar. A case grammar is a form of grammar in which the word structure is important. The structure of sentence is analyzed in terms of semantic case relationship. That is, analyzing the semantic relationship in a sentence is called case grammar. In normal sentence we divide we divide the sentence as noun, verb, complements, adjectives, so on. But in this type of case grammar, we were dividing the sentence in a semantic rule. That is, we are dividing it as agent, object, benefactor, location or instrument. Okay, now let's move into the example. The first example is Jones gave money to the school. Here Jones is an agent, that is the subject. Then gave money is an object. To the school is a benefactor here. So the central analysis in the subject in the sentence is an object. The another example is the key opened the door. The door was opened by the key. The man opened the door with the key. What is important over here? The key, that is the object. In normal sentence pattern we call it as a verb, the object. It is a central part in the sentence. This is the case grammar. The second type of grammar is a cognitive grammar. Cognitive grammar is not in a perfect sentence form, but still it gives a meaning. It has and it gives a meaning. Usually the sentences are written by using certain symbols. Symbols, for example, comma, quotation, which was normally used in the sentence to give certain meaning, to convey a certain set of meaning. So here the example is Clara Neary profiling the flight of the windower. So, what does the sentence mean? Clara Neary is a person who is capturing the characteristic feature of a windower, which is a bird. So, what happens if you remove the symbols, that is the quotation, the sentence goes meaningless. So, it is not the sentence is not in a perfect sentence form, but still it gives the meaning. Now, another example is I am here, you are busy. It is not in a perfect sentence pattern, but if the quotations are removed, it doesn't give the correct meaning. Here, the short forms were also used. You have to write I am here, but in the sentence it was written I am here. But still, it gives meaning. The third type of grammar is a comparative grammar. It is nothing but it is a type of grammar. It is nothing but the comparison between the two. A branch of comparison of grammatical structures of related adjectives and languages. This is one of the very easiest type of grammar. For example, my house is larger than hers. The fourth type of grammar is the construction grammar. This type of grammar is related to the grammatical constructions. That is the conventional pairing of form and the meaning. Form and the meaning. For example, we can say that they laughed him out of the room. It is a constructed sentence, but it can also be written as they laughed at him and so he went out of the room. Now the sentence became very lengthy, but this constructional grammar helps us to construct a small sentence with the same meaning. That is, the pairing of form and meaning is called construction. Pairing of the form and the meaning is called construction grammar. The fifth type of grammar is descriptive and prescriptive grammar. First, let us see about the descriptive grammar. This descriptive grammar is objective and non-judgmental. It is like as we are speaking Tamil. If Tamil is asked to speak in a formal form, it should be a Sen-Tamil, okay? If you are speaking Tamil in a formal and originated form, it should be spoken only in a form of Sen-Tamil. But this colloquial usage of language by the native speakers, is called the descriptive grammar. So, it differs from century to century. That is according to our needs. New words are included in the language and oldest form of words are deleted. That is, the language takes some alternation according to the needs and development of the society. For example, we can say that I ain't going nowhere. Ain't is not used formally. But there is no problem to use this in a sentence while writing a descriptive grammar. Because ain't is again a negative word, nowhere is again negative. So, double negative in a sentence. If you are speaking it, it's not in a correct form. But if you are using it in a descriptive grammar, then it is right. Then let's move into the prescriptive grammar. It is entirely a contrast concept to the descriptive grammar. Prescriptive grammar is a set of rules. It is also called as normative grammar or prescriptivism, which was taught in school. Still, Tamil is also taught in school. We never follow the exact grammatical rules as we are the native speakers. So, we taught in school is prescriptive, and the difference between prescriptive and descriptive is what we are taught in the school. That is, we are a foreign language. The foreign language which we are learning in the school is a prescriptive form. Whereas the mother tongue, what are speaking in our home, that is the native speakers, is called as descriptive grammar. The sixth type of grammar is the generative grammar. This generative grammar accepts the differences. It is a form of accepting the differences. Accepting the newly generated words that was included in the language. As we are now mixing lots of English words in Tamil. As our mother tongue is Tamil, we people are not speaking in Tamil or a exact Tamil words. Rather, we are including the English words. If you are near Kerala, then you are mixing Malayalam. If you are near Andhra, you are mixing Tamil. Likewise, every language was mixed over here, but still people accept and understand what you speak. And it was also accepted by the native speakers. Accepted in the sense that they are understood and they can easily respond to your answer. The seventh type of grammar is a lexical functional grammar. It gives a morphological and syntactical framework. Morphological means a basic units of a sentence, and the grammar is used in it is called and the grammar used in a sentence is called syntactical. The lexical functional grammar examines the relationship between both morphology and the syntax. It is also called as a realistic grammar. For example, the old woman eats the falafel. It can be split into two forms. The old woman can be considered as a noun phrase. Eats the falafel can be considered as a verb phrase. This verb phrase can be further split into eats, that is verb, and the falafel again became the noun phrase. That is, splitting the sentence and finding the basic unit of the language is called the lexical functional grammar. The last type of grammar is the mental grammar. This mental grammar comes close with the generative grammar, that is, accepting the words from other language. From childhood, we are listening to certain words stored in our mind. Sentence words which comes from our mind is called mental grammar. If someone make mistake while speaking, it is easy for us to point out the mistake. For example, Jane said that told her that. For example, we can say that Jane said that Sam told her that Olivia said that. So many that's are here. So this is not a correct form of speaking. But we are speaking what comes from our mind. And when we are addressing our grandmother, she says that she is our great grandmother. This is not a right form. Great grandmother itself refers to her. But this many great is not to be written in a written form or not a correct form of sentence. But in this mental grammar, what we are speaking from our mind is called as mental grammar. Conclusion. Finally, to conclude, it is easy to get lost in the weeds of exactly what which rules means, how it works. It helps us to remember that language is a practice of patterns. Some patterns you know and use well, and others you may not know and need to practice further with. And we all need help with this pattern from time to time. That is the speciality of grammar. I hope that you have clearly understood this topic. Thank you.